Hello, my friend, and welcome to the 552nd episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Today we have Rhonda Petit. She is the author of The Spirit of Selling, Using Universal Laws for Sales Success. And I'm all about sales success, you know what I'm saying? And especially universal laws, the strategies, the big things that stick, that stay, that are consistent, that are you can always rely on, because the tactics, they come and go, they fade. They fall out of favor. So let's stick with the big rocks, shall we? So we get into your view on money, on stress, how to get to the pain in a prospect, and a whole lot more. And paying for programs that you're not sure about, that's a pain. That's why I've made a slight change to the Make Every Sale program. No more promo codes. Just go check it out. I'm not even going to tell you the price. MakeEverySale.com. That will alleviate your pain. I guarantee. So sign up for that and then come back and listen to this interview with Rhonda. Rhonda Petit, author of The Spirit of Selling, Using Universal Laws for Sales Success. Welcome to the Sales Podcast. How the heck are you?
I'm doing great, Wes. I'm glad to be here with you.
Are there really universal laws? Rhonda, look, my industry is different.
Well, do you live in this universe?
Well, it depends. I'm in a different universe than my children. So I don't know. Are they in the wrong universe? Am I in the wrong? Does this work on kids? And does it work on dogs? If it works on, I'm sold if it works on either of them.
Absolutely. Universal law works on children. It's just the way everything works on this planet. Where
have you been all my life? I got, oh my gosh. So talk to me about that. So what is this universal law? Because everybody, they want to tell you everything's dead, right? Cold calling's dead, SEO's dead, email's dead, speaking's dead, webinar's dead. Everybody's got their own unique little thing. But is there an underlying, like a common thread to sales that you have discovered?
Yes, that's really why I wrote this book, because I think we all get caught up in our mechanics, right? Just like you said. And the principles are where the principles are timeless and they never change. And so, for me, writing this book, I was passionate about getting this out, because when I started selling when I was 21, and if someone would have explained this to me back then, oh my word, what I could have been really, really dangerous. I mean, there were times when I was doing, I was unconscious competent and I was succeeding and winning like crazy. But then when I, kind of fell off the rocker and didn't really know what happened. And then when I found out about these laws and really applied them to selling, I said, I have to get this word out for really to change the buying experience for everyone involved.
I don't care about the buying experience. I'm here to sell. I'm here to close. I'm a closer. You know what I'm saying, Rhonda? What is this? Is this a kinder, gentler process? Or is that what you're saying?
It's much more easier to win this way when you know how to work with universal law.
All right.
There is no stress and there's no force.
You're speaking my language. I like easy. I'm a salesperson. I'm lazy. Okay. Can this is between you and me, right? I can tell you this.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm lazy. I am coin operated. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
I know. Yeah. A lot of people are coin operated. But do you realize where the money's coming from? Why you're getting it?
Well, it's that old adage. Your prospect, they've got your money in their wallet and it's your job to rip it from them. Like, oh my gosh. Why is that attitude still so prevalent?
I think it's just because people don't realize the difference between getting and giving. They don't understand universal law. I mean, there's a boomerang law. What you put out, you get back. You earn a sale, you don't make a sale. You earn commissions, you don't make commissions. You earn them from service rendered. And it's really that simple. And so when you're selling and you're in the spirit of selling, you understand that everything you give is coming back. It's not linear. It's not necessarily going to come from the person you give it to. But if you're putting out good and you're putting out value and you're leaving everyone with an impression of increase and you're just in the spirit of serving others, it's going to come back, and it's going to come back multiplied.
So how were you brought up in sales? Because you mentioned, if you'd have known this, things would have been different. Was it old school, never take no for an answer. You got to get 5 no's before you get to yes. I mean, just the old school pressure tactics.
I write about it in my book. My mentor, he was great. My vice president of sales, he was a football player. And we used to talk about our competition like we were in the football locker room, like they were the nemesis, right? And sometimes when you have that background, you get into the competing and comparing yourself with what's out there and what is, right? And when we compete and compare, we're kind of dealing from the realm of, first of all, if you think someone's out to eat your lunch, that was the common term. Have you ever heard that one? Eat your lunch, go eat their lunch.
Oh, yeah.
So you come from that. It puts you in a state of anemone, right? You're like, your stress hormones go up and you think you're under attack and you're going to do battle. And, it's very stressful that way. If you reframe it, your perception, and you say, I'm going to win because I'm creating value, and you're coming from that place as opposed to worrying about what your competition is doing and comparing yourself to what anybody else is doing, then the game becomes a lot easier.
So you're saying when people email me, hey, I'm just trying to bubble this back up to the top of your inbox, they're not really adding value to my life, and that's why I'm ignoring them?
I would say they're thinking about them, not
Right.
about you, right?
Right.
Because they're not calling up and say, hey, Wes, how can I help you today?
Right.
Did you find, even if they're telling you, sometimes it's, you assess. I think great sales pros are always listening and assessing and really trying to get in the other person's moccasins and walk a mile. I mean, maybe I'm showing my age from talking about that. I don't know whether everybody knows of that saying, but if you get in that person's moccasins and you're thinking, you're trying to assess, is what I have going to help them in their transformation of what they're trying to do? Is it going to put order in their life? If it doesn't fit, it's just like a shoe. You just say, no problem. This doesn't fit, but hey, I know down the road, you might be able to talk to this person or that person, and they could really help you because I've heard some people that have, used them and got what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what did you do? You left that person with an impression of increase, right?
Mm-hmm. Can this be done earlier in the sales process? I talk to people all the time. They're running themselves ragged, taking appointments with anyone that can fog a mirror, and only to find out later, oh no, it's not a fit. Or they're afraid to just kind of put their foot down and, let's say your services start at $5,000 and somebody's like, well, I've got 2,000, and try to make that fit. So they're saying, I'm sorry. I mean, our minimum is 5 and really it's 5,500, but I mean, we'll do 5. And they bend over backwards to try to get a deal out of everyone, so can these processes be applied earlier so we can spend more time with qualified prospects instead of trying to, make a square peg fit in a round hole?
Oh, absolutely. I think, it's all, when you're looking for people, you have to know what you're selling, right? And focus on the benefits of your product and believing and really understanding what you're selling, right? And then establishing the worth to what that sale is. So let's say you said $5,000. If your product's worth $5,000, be convinced of that value before you go into a sale. And, if someone doesn't have that cash, maybe they don't have it now, but they can get it. And you really have to come from, I think, universal law is you've got to think of your service, of what it's going to provide and all the benefits and what that's worth, and believe in it. And then you're going to be naturally attracted to people who have that problem or, have the money to do that. Everyone has the money, Wes. It's just a sacrifice, right? It's like, do they have the desire for what you have? And are they willing to sacrifice their money or their time to get it? Did you stoke the desire and the imagination in their mind so it's high enough that they're going to go find the money, right? As opposed to just coming in and saying, here's what I have and this is what it costs, and then getting into the money thing. You didn't, to me, it sounds like there wasn't deep discovery on what the person needs and if there was a fit. And if you start getting into that that mindset of, I'm going to figure out if there's a fit first, I'm not going to open my mouth about the price of the product till I understand what the person needs.
Yeah. Well, it's so true. If you hit somebody up and say, look, it's, if you buy a plane ticket right now and fly to New York, we're going to give you the winning lottery ticket. It's $100 million, but the only flight available, is a first class ticket and it's $5,000 one way. I mean, okay. They'd probably find that money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Wes, buying some software, some consulting, that's not really the same as $100 million. That's a guaranteed $100 million. They'll find an excuse to justify, to fight this, but it's the truth. So I love the way you frame that. How do we help that prospect find that desire when everyone is so standoffish? They want to do chat or instant messenger or text. They want you to do a demo. They want you to send some information, and they stay not at arm's length. They're a million mile length. How do we get closer to them today to get them to let their guard down, to even answer the questions so we can diagnose?
You have to, when people are doing that, they're coming from logic, right? And so you haven't gotten them down in their hearts. So you have to ask yourself, how do you get down in the person's heart and get them out of their head? Because their mindset of what is being controlled by logic. And a lot of that is based upon habitual nature of maybe thinking that they can't get what they want. Right? How many times do you go to a prospect and they're, sometimes we as salespeople will even go in and say, oh, that hospital won't have enough money for this before we even walk in the door. Well, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. But let's say the person in the lab has been told no so many times that, they don't even go into their imagination. So maybe you say, well, what would be, if money was no object and you could fix this, you get them into their imagination. What would you want to create here? What are you looking to, what would make a transformation here that would be positive, that you could be proud of? And get people out of their heads and get out of the heads and what is, and get them into their imagination where you can create from a subjective state as opposed to an object that's limited and fixed.
I like that. So move from what is to what can be.
Exactly.
Right.
That's exactly it. People, we got trained when we went to school, right? We all used to play and pots and pans and, go outside and kick the can and do whatever. And we had imagination about all the things we were going to do to grow up. And you go into school and then they say, hey, you got to stay in the line. Stop that. Don't stop daydreaming. And people have lost they have imaginations, but they're not being used. A real pro gets people activating their desire, because if you can't get the desire, no desire, no sale. No desire, no sale.
So along those lines, I always talk about people buy to alleviate a pain. So is that two sides of the same coin?
Pain or pleasure, one of the two.
Yeah. So would you say, is it safe to say that, no desire to eliminate pain, or like if there's not a big enough pain, then there's not enough desire to take action?
Yeah. It's desire is, when it's elevated, it's the the beginning of achievement, right? So either you have to elevate. They're either motivated by avoiding pain. They want to accomplish, fix, or avoid something, right? So some people want to accomplish things. Some people want to avoid things. Some people want to fix things, right? So if you just go there, then the question becomes how big is their desire? So, sometimes, there's things like spin selling, and that's one way of elevating desire, because you start talking about implications and you start getting people to realize in their imagination that the problem's bigger than they thought they had. Or, but the first step to figure out which one of those is to figure out the motive, right? So is the person motivated by, avoiding pain or avoiding something, or are they motivated by being the first and standing out? What kind of motives does your and Napoleon Hill used to say, if you don't have a motive, you should not be selling anybody if you don't know what the heck the motive is for the person, right?
Yeah, amen. I've always said, if the prospect, if they're not like truly sold, right, they're still kind of kicking the tires, they're inquisitive. I've always approached it as they don't truly understand the ramifications of the issue, because if they did, they would have already taken action. Sure. Right. If I'm shot in the belly, I'm going to the hospital. I know I got a problem. Mm-hmm. I just have some pain. I don't know. Maybe it's indigestion. I had too much beer. So maybe it's nothing. So, in kind of going back to what I was saying with technology and COVID, right? It made us stay home. People are starting to get back out and get face to face. Conferences are coming back. Do these universal laws? Do they still apply? Are they more applicable? Are people hungrier to engage? Like, are they more honest now, you think? Or are they more standoffish because supply chain and inflation and gas prices and everything else?
I think universal laws work all the time, and they're based upon hitting people and making emotional composites with people at the heart. They're not logic. So I think if no matter what, and hey, we haven't seen, who knows what the next 10 years are going to be. The predictions are it's going to make your head spin, because things will change so much faster. Right? It just keeps getting faster and faster on the changes. So we got to start becoming comfortable being uncomfortable with the change. And the thing about relying on universal laws and universal principles for creation is they don't change, even though the outside conditions change. They're all based on coming from what's inside you, and that connection, that heart connection that you make with the client that you're talking to. So if you're heart-centered and you're selling at a heart, and trying to understand somebody and where they are and where they want to go, how you're going to get order and walk them across the bridge to their transformation because you believe and you're so confident, it doesn't matter whether you're doing that on Zoom, whether COVID's going on or whatever. It's, you're directing. When we sell, we're leading someone to accept an idea, right? Accept and approve an idea, adopt an idea, right? That's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And so it takes understanding and connecting at the heart level. It's not logic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Rhonda, I'm in this cutthroat world, and this sounds like some new age woo-woo stuff. And, I'm just not into that. Okay. So do I really need your book?
You're not into it. Yeah, you do need it. You do need it. Because
there's somebody, there's somebody listening to this right now. They're driving around in their high-dollar car in their power suit, and they sell to Silicon Valley, although they probably wearing flip-flops and shorts. But my point, right? So trying to think of naysayers.
If you're stuck, the only thing that's holding you back is your awareness. And if you think woo-woo, if you think you know everything, but you don't know what is in this book and what these universal laws are, and you want to stay in the dark, then stay in the dark. But I'm telling you, this is the principles of being in the spirit of selling. And when you're in it, you're in the flow and it's easy. And, I would say I'd rather have less stress, be relaxed and work in universal law than being forced trying to compete and stay up with, all these changes that are happening and fight them.
Well, you don't understand stress, Rhonda. You don't have my boss, okay? He's grinding on me. I got to have my CRM updated. Prospects lie. They give me the wrong information. I'm still expected to hit my number. Have you seen gas prices lately? I don't know. Is this book really going to help me?
Yes, because it's going to teach you how to use your attitude and how to look at your boss through another lens as your personal trainer on how you can handle difficult people and turn them around, how you can shift their attitudes with your attitude. Use your superpowers.
I like that. Yeah, I've always told people, our job is to make our clients' lives better, right? But it's also to make our boss's lives better, right? If we can make the boss happy and successful,
create harmony, right?
Yeah, they're going to love us. At a minimum, they'll get off our backs.
Yeah.
I was always building coalitions, alliances within my company. Mm-hmm. And I was in high tech for a long time. And, I would have $250,000 worth of gear in the back of my truck at any given time, right?
With the gurneys.
Or in my closet, right? My kids are growing up, they're in diapers playing with fiber optic lasers and stuff, like, careful with that. That's a, hold it in your hand. That's a $10,000 module. So like, be easy with that, Junior. But I would have that because I was friends with the demo guy, and he wouldn't sweat me, right? He'd get me 3 units instead of 2, or 3 units instead of 1. And I could keep them for a month instead of for 3 days. And that meant I could put it in the hands of more prospects, which meant I could make more sales because I was currying favor inside. But I digress. I see your rules here, and I love the number 2. Do you judge money or expect it? What does that mean? What do you elaborate on that for our listeners?
Judgment is a it's something we develop as part of our protection mechanism when we're kids, and the way when we judge things, we typically don't have an open mind, right? We judge ourselves, we judge people, or we judge circumstances. And money, if it's being judged, what I mean by that is you associate it with some belief that is a misconception. And when you do that, you hamper yourself from being free to have money hang out with you. Like, okay, examples like when you hear people say money's the root of all evil. Money is people with lots of money, are devious. That's not true. It's most people, people with lots of money have obviously done a lot of service for a lot of people, and that's created the surplus that keeps coming in, right? Because money is earned, it's not made. The mint down in Philadelphia makes money and prints money, but you don't make money, you earn it. So I go through, when you judge money based upon these beliefs or misconceptions that are not reality, not truth, they are ideas you accepted to be true, but they're not truth because they don't empower you. They hold you back. I want you to recognize that you're not, expecting money to come the natural way it's going to come. And when you buck it and you judge it, you're pushing it away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always talked about that, how crazy and ironic it is that salespeople, we grow up with head trash about money. It's the old adage, you don't talk about sex, politics, religion, money, in mixed company. And so now we just have a bunch of ill-informed people that can't have difficult conversations. But even to this day, our household is different. We talk about everything, but especially money. But growing up, most people, if you ask them, hey mom, how much money do you make? Well, honey, you don't need to worry yourself about that. Hey dad, how much did our car cost? Son, why would you, you don't need to know that kind of stuff. Hey, how much was dinner? Yeah. Like, look, I'm paying or you pay, I'm paying. Don't worry about it. So now nobody knows anything about money. And then they get into sales, or then even worse, they launch a business and they're uncomfortable talking about money. It's like, oh my gosh, good luck with that.
Right.
Oh,
well, they don't teach you anything about money in school either. Right. I mean, they teach you accounting. That's it. But they don't teach you, and they tell you a lot, the worst way to make money, they say there's only 3 ways to make money, right? Trading time for money, trading money for money, or multiple sources of income. And, most schools will tell you, go out and get a good job and do the 40-year plan. And that's puts you in the worst tax advantage of anything, right? Mm-hmm. Because you don't have any deductions. You're paying the highest amount of interest and stuff, but they don't teach you that in school.
I saw a thing. It said, I'm sure glad I learned all about geometry and instead of taxes and income, because it's really going to help me during this parallelogram season. Like, oh, that's a good point. Somebody else I saw said, I went drinking last night and filled out my tax form. He said, I'm getting $4 million back. Yeah, good luck. Let me know how that works out for you. Oh my goodness. So this book, it's available now, right, on Amazon. I'm linking to that. And you're basing this, your business is 3x5 coaching. Right. So you've been doing this for a minute.
Yep.
And so that's why I like somebody with experience writing. I mean, you see 29-year-old, I don't know, internet Bitcoin millionaires writing their memoirs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, call me back and get a couple of gray hairs. It's just, they're just doing it for money. But I mean, I feel like this is the spirit of selling. So I'm glad you took the time to document this, because people need to understand the difference. I consider selling a profession.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad you treat it the same way. So, but I'm linking to the book, but it is thespiritofselling.com, right? Yes. And we'll drive people there and get on it. Now I see here, is the audiobook out?
The audiobook is should be out soon. Yes.
Okay, good. All right. I see the link here. All right. You can join the wait list, but I didn't know if that was right right this moment or in the past. So cool. All right. Because I've been told too, and I've been slow doing it. I'm slowly recording mine on audio, but it's so funny. I can promote and sell other people's stuff so much better than my own.
Now, why is that?
I need your book, right?
You do.
Get out of my own head.
Exactly. Get out of your own head and get into your heart and share what you've got. You've got talents. You're Wes. You're the only person that is going to be Wes that's ever going to hit the planet with the unique gifts you have. Get out there and share them. I
got skills.
You do. You've got divinity within. Let it shine.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, Rhonda Petit, no E on the end. Thespiritofselling.com. Thanks for coming on the show. It's been fantastic.
I've had a great time. Thanks so much for having me, Wes.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
So we're going live with this right in the middle of Parallelogram season, otherwise known as tax season. Actually, my wife and my sister-in-law and my, not the oldest daughter at home. What is she? Second oldest daughter at home. Third daughter. Fifth child. They're all on a Zoom call. going over taxes. Gotta love it. But I digress. I hope you enjoyed that. Ron is just a straight shooter, a lot of experience. You've probably heard me mention this once or twice at least, that great salespeople have great empathy. It means you can walk a mile in your prospect's shoes. You can see things from their perspective and you can relate. So work on that if you're not great at that. It is important. It is vital. Like I said, I had her on because I appreciate these fundamentals, right? The universal laws. So, get the book and let me know what you think. If you want to go deeper into your own sales skills, get the Make Every Sale course. No promo code is needed. Just apply the discount today. Actually, I was working on it. I don't know. The days run together. I'm doing this at night right now. So it might have been yesterday. But regardless, when you get there, after you listen to this, it's there waiting for you to jump in with both feet. All right? MakeEverySale.com. Thanks for listening. I'll go sell something.